people who lost their job due to this crisis. What is your story?
Silent scan.
I'm a housekeeper at a hotel. Last week, they cut our hours from 40 to 32. I was just informed that tomorrow, they're shutting down the hotel. Front desk, sales team, and bartenders are being laid off. For the time being, housekeeping will now work 24 hours a week for 2 weeks to deep clean the hotel. But who knows after that? I'm a housekeeper in Maine. I found out Thursday that I am being laid off indefinitely. Thursday I had a job. Friday I didn't. In 1 week, I lost both of my jobs. I worked at my university and a hotel. Had to move out of my apartment. Can't pay my $800 rent. Landlord not helping. And had to switch to online learning. As a music major. No way in hell will that work. It's 4:58 in the morning. I woke up from a nightmare. And woke up in a nightmare at it. Because a couple people decided they should attempt to save me from a music major. I'm a music education major. Please mind your business. I'm not looking for career advice.
Silent scan.
I haven't been laid off, but I answer for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And we are having so many calls where someone is thinking about killing themselves because they were laid off. This virus is causing so much damage, and there's never enough resources. Hey, I also answer calls for Lifeline and the disaster and distress helpline. It's f***ing rough on the lines right now. Sending you lots of support and love. I've called you people. The call I'll never forget. The help is why I'm here today. Thank you.
Silent scan.
I was a bartender. The bars and restaurants were shut down. I was actually relieved because, not gonna lie, I was afraid of dealing with so many people and all the glasses. People would have just kept coming too if the state hadn't shut us down. You're right. No doubt they would have kept coming in. Our governor just scolded the community because, well, the bars and restaurants were closed as of Monday. He stated that he didn't want social gatherings of more than 50 people. So of course, there is a park playground area in a part of town that actually has a higher concentration of virus confirmations. And just yesterday, all of these families took their kids to this park. People stated there were probably 200 plus cars in the parking lot and tons of children and adults hanging out together. The state police eventually shut it down. However, it caused the governor to now take more drastic actions and ended up closing other facilities that were still open to the public. And now, only groups of 10 or less allowed, and he's enforcing this rule by law now. He was visibly pissed.
Silent scan.
My experience is pretty unique. In a nutshell, my wife and I live in New Zealand and had planned a 2-year working visa in Toronto. We were supposed to leave in April, so we had obviously already handed in our notices of resignation to our bosses. Long story short, Canada shut its borders, and my boss has already hired my replacement. As a side note, they shut the borders on my birthday.
Silent scan.
My husband got laid off on Tuesday. He works about 3 minutes down the road from my work. He showed up at my work with tears in his eyes, apologizing to me for not doing good enough to be kept. He works at a car dealership as an auto technician, where they let go of 4 techs that day cause of decreasing business. They're letting go of more people this Saturday. My brother is a mechanic there, and is scared to lose his job too. They told my husband that when business picks back up, they might call and ask him to come work for them again. Thankfully, I work in the lab of a hospital, so my job is pretty secure. I keep telling my husband that we'll get through it, but I know it's taking a toll on him. I've read through dozens of these posts, and they're all heartbreaking, but we will all come out the other end for the better. I'm hoping for anyway. Having said that, as a former tech, I'd say good riddance to the industry. I know that sounds incredibly insensitive because it was income. I know and I get it, but the auto industry, specifically dealerships for techs, is a hellhole. And the audacity to say they might hire him back. Please. I feel for him because I know that feeling of, I wasn't good enough to keep around. But if he feels that much sorrow over it, means he put his heart into it. Someone like him needs to get into a career where he's valued. And that's certainly not tech life. Wishing the best for the both of you. Hoping someday to come back and read he's kicking ass at whatever he's doing.
Silent scan.
F&B manager at a large hotel, GM and HR, gave me a list of employees to call and informed them that they would all be furloughed. It was the hardest thing I've had to do in my life. I had to stop halfway through the list just to sit in my office and cry. I had to encourage grown men and women that everything would work out and be okay when I had no idea myself if or when it would be. I went to work this morning, worked my normal 10 hours. Then I was laid off at the end of the day. I cried again on the way home.
Silent scan.
I worked at a specialty custom cake shop. My bosses are a brother and sister that own the business. They have been terrified of COVID-19 since it started in January, and have been throwing around the idea of closing ever since then, when all the employees would panic and ask what would happen to us. If you close, they would just say, "Don't worry about it. We will figure it out." Last week we got an email giving us 6 days notice that we will be closed for the following month with partial pay. By the time we reached the final day, we would be open before the month of closing. They told us that we were actually being laid off. The partial pay for the month would be severance, and they are unsure of when they will open. They act like this is only temporary, but I know that they are refusing custom cake orders all the way until August. They also make no promises to be able to hire us back after they reopen later this year, since they may not be able to afford it.
Silent scan.
Construction. The whole construction site was laid off, and with the way things are going, the company owner thinks it'll be at least a year before they consider hiring me back. Started 3 months ago, and that's at least 50 other people affected. Just for this site, the company had several other sites that they laid off employees to. I'm just lucky I'm still living with my parents, and Dad works as online it for the general public, so he's nice and busy at it. Sign everyone. And their dog is asking. I'm in Canada, Alberta. The site I was on was shut down by the owner. Beyond that, and thanks to the bunch of you that offered to help hire, I was kinda surprised at that.
Silent scan.
I haven't lost my job, but my small software company instituted 30% pay cut across the board. They say it'll be reevaluated every month. Clients keep canceling or postponing projects, so I'm good this month, but could easily lose it next month. I'm just happy they decided to cut pay instead of fire 30% of the workforce, so everyone can keep their health coverage. That, and I'm not sure I wouldn't have been part of that 30%.
Silent scan.
I was laid off from my 5-year graphic design job, working for a screen printing and promotional products company. About half of our business involves schools, sports, and events. Obviously, none of that is happening currently, so our business is stagnated. They are going to try to operate with a skeleton crew for the next couple months. The hope is to bring everyone back eventually, but I'm not optimistic. Solidarity. I'm a web developer, pretty much the same industry. Fabric decor, projection screens, giant shade structures, etc. I'm optimistic things will bounce back eventually, and I trust my CEO that I will be called back when that happens. He's always been extremely good to all of the employee, and we're good friends at this point, but I'm not optimistic that it'll happen within the next few months.
Silent scan.
I just finished my training as a flight attendant for a major European airline. It's been a dream of mine, and I have been putting my love and energy into this training for the past months. I'm in Cancun right now, and it's bittersweet, because it's absolutely beautiful here. But at the same time, this was my last training flight. I'm now a fully trained flight attendant, and yet none knows when me and my other new colleagues will actually be getting our work contract. Since the airline industry is suffering a lot right now, I think I will cry when landing back in Frankfurt tonight, because I don't know when will be my next flight, but I will put on a brave face and genuine smile for our passengers. At least I will do my best.
Silent scan.
I'm a substitute teacher. If you are aware that most schools are closing, if they haven't already, then that should explain why all subs are now effectively unemployed. It's unlikely that schools will return during this situation, so yes, thousands of people are out of work just from that alone. Subs don't make salary, so any employee who is hourly or paid by day now needs to scramble at it, because so many people are unsure whether they should file for unemployment or not and are in a similar situation. Being a substitute or a different employee that was hourly, or a position that was cut due to our current circumstances, please do. You absolutely can and should file for unemployment. It may take some time with the influx of applications, but this situation is what that government service is for. I extend my best wishes to everyone and their friends and families. I hope you all stay healthy and hold on to hope. Be smart and safe.
Silent scan.
I was laid off indefinitely from 2 different hourly paying line cooking jobs on Monday. 50 hours combined week. I helped clean out one of the restaurants Wednesday. We discarded a lot of stuff. I helped clean out all of the coolers and throw away a lot of prepped food that people couldn't take home. Employees were encouraged to take what they wanted: produce, dairy, meat, etc. The place is almost completely empty. It's surreal. My spouse was laid off indefinitely Wednesday. She manages a restaurant and is salaried with benefits. 50 hours week. She was told that management will not be paid until the place reopens. Our family currently has no work or income. We have a young child. These are very uncertain times. Edit update. We are healthy and staying happy. Lots of extra time to play with the kiddo. We have food, water, and other saved resources. We are exploring unemployment insurance and a couple of other options. Thanks for all of the love. This story could be the same for millions right now. Take care of your family and neighbors. Try to spend and shop local. We get past this together.
Silent scan.
Just lost it about an hour ago. I'm a restaurant manager, and they called me and told me to turn in my keys by the end of the day. I'm in quarantine and can't. They're sending me a UPS box so I can send in my keys, and told me to file for unemployment. Never expected this to happen to me. I'm in shock. It's what I'm going to do. Hey, thanks for the well wishes and advice. I live in New Jersey and I already filed last night. Everyone else in my shoes read these comments. On top of being really sick, it was a kick to the stomach, but we will get through it.
Silent scan.